The world of fashion is not just for models and fashionistas anymore. In the last few decades, significant names from all corners of celebritydom have entered the ring, from actors to singers to Pharrell Williams. Pharrell's relationship with Louis Vuitton may have started in 2004, but his trend-setting ways go back much further. Pharrell was born the oldest of 3 children, and growing up, he always knew he wanted to stand out. He tested the waters with several forms of art before finding he had a knack for making music. He met similarly gifted musician Chad Hugo in high school, and the two began a lifelong collaborative relationship. As the firstborn son of his family, Pharrell felt the weight of expectations on his shoulders. He knew he was supposed to be a leader and a role model for his siblings, but the world seemed to be calling him to a less traditional path. After he graduated high school, he considered skipping college and chasing his dream of starting a music career. However, he decided to give higher education the old college try and to provide an excellent example for his younger siblings. He knew his family wanted to impress upon the younger ones the importance of education, and they looked to Pharrell to lead the way. After 2 years, the future fashion icon found that the college experience was not for him, and he decided to drop out. He had a small side project with his good friend Chad Hugo called the Neptunes, and they agreed to take their musical endeavors from part-time to full-time and chase their dreams. The Neptunes would indeed prove to be the start of something huge. They were first noticed while they were still in high school by producer Teddy Riley, who was attending a talent show at the school since he had a studio nearby. Pharrell and the rest of the Neptunes stayed in contact with Riley. After dropping out of college, Riley would tap Pharrell as a songwriter. The young hip-hop artist's first claim to fame was Riley's verse on the song Rump Shaker by Rex and Effect. The music would be a multi-platinum hit and firmly placed Pharrell on the radar of every producer in the business. As for the Neptunes, they gained a bit of traction around this time as well, as they started dipping their toes into the waters of producing themselves. Finding more success as writers and producers, they turned their attention to teaming up with up-and-coming artists and helping them find their sound. One early example was the rap duo Clips, made up of Pusha T and No Malice. Also being from Virginia, the artists found immediate camaraderie. They began working together to carve out and refine the duo for a record. Here, the different strengths of the Neptunes were on full display. Chad Hugo was a multi-instrumentalist and was a talented musician. On the other hand, Pharrell was not only a gifted lyricist, as noted before, but his style and presence were unique. His writing style was only the start of it. His interactions with the artists, the music, and the world around him quickly made him a hot commodity for collaboration. Pharrell found that he was not just on the cutting edge of cool, but was rapidly becoming the leading voice in what was fashionable on the radio. Over the next few years, Pharrell would shape the sound of many of the biggest hip-hop and R&B artists of the time. He produced tracks for the likes of Jay-Z and was even the producer on Nelly's mega hit Hot in Here. However, just as his musical star rose, Pharrell began setting his sights on a new horizon, the wide world of fashion. In 2003, Pharrell met with members of the Louis Vuitton design team. He expressed interest in learning about the fashion industry. One of the elements of hip-hop culture has always been the clothes. An artist's personal fashion sense could make or break their image. Having a unique style fascinated Pharrell when he noticed it, and he decided to take his curiosity to the professionals at LV. What began as a simple inquiry developed into an opportunity. The designers at Louis Vuitton gave him a taste of the fashion world. They leaped on the chance when he stated interest in designing something of his own. The good people over at Louis Vuitton got him in touch with Japanese designer Nigo, a massive name in the industry. The two of them headed into the studio to see what magic they could find. Together, Pharrell and Nigo released Billionaire Boys Club, a streetwear brand, and Ice Cream Footwear. These brands began to bridge the gap between hip-hop and skate cultures and high fashion. FUBU, the brand started by Shark Tank's Damon John, had attempted to achieve a similar goal, but Pharrell's vision was to bring fashion to the street level, rather than bringing the street to the fashion world. The Billionaire Boys Club was a huge hit, making waves with their target audience and raising eyebrows at Louis Vuitton. Their little test project had proven far more successful than they had anticipated. The designers at Louis Vuitton began brainstorming a project they could collaborate on with the newly minted fashion icon. Meanwhile, Pharrell still maintained a busy schedule in the music world, making his fashion work easier and more demanding. Pharrell's career as a producer in the music industry kept him incredibly booked up. His frequent projects made working on new lines for the brand complex at times, but he never lost his passion for fashion and style. His very public position in the limelight, while complicating his fashion schedule, also provided to be a benefit. Naturally, Pharrell was seen all over wearing Billionaire Boys Club. The fact that he needed to be on so many red carpets made for the perfect marketing scheme for his brand, getting his designs in front of millions of eyes who would not have otherwise known about them. Louis Vuitton waited several years for their moment, watching Pharrell's successes continue to stack up. Eventually, in 2008, their chance for a collaboration came along, and they jumped on it immediately. The legendary fashion house paired the hip-hop maestro with their jewelry consultant Camille Maselli and let them loose in the design studio. Together, these two turned out a line of eyewear and jewelry that was as tasteful as it was unique. Once again, Pharrell's personality shone through the designs, bringing a new flavor to the project. Louis Vuitton's classic feel was retained while somehow being infused with the modern twist Pharrell brought to the table. As much as they wanted to, the designers at Louis Vuitton knew they needed to turn Pharrell loose for a while. Every instinct they had told them they should immediately give him another project and crank out a new line as soon as possible. However, logic and reason won out, and they let things cool off a bit. They released their line with the world-renowned producer and told him they would be in touch soon. Knowing that he now had the taste for fashion in his blood, they knew he would venture out and explore the other corners of the industry. This, it turned out, was precisely what they needed. Pharrell had worked with Louis Vuitton almost exclusively at this point. Even his brand had been designed with a collaborator the major fashion house recommended. With LV saying they didn't have anything for him to work on right away, Pharrell began looking around for his next adventure. Over the next few years, he would design yet another line of eyewear, this time for Moncler, called the Moncler Lunettes. Shortly after that, he entered into a long-term collaboration with sportswear giant Adidas. Along the way, he did short-term projects with other designers and houses from every edge of the fashion world imaginable. All of this exposure was changing Pharrell. While every line he worked on had his fingerprints on them, he was also starting to show signs of growth and creative evolution. His style and pattern slowly began to morph into something new. The 90s and 2000s street-level charm and fashion sense he brought with him changed with the times. As the mid-2010s came along, Pharrell's design started looking modern differently. His icons became regal, feeling more inspired by the French and Italian fashion houses. His streetwise style began to move away from the practical look and adopted more of a message. Pharrell's journey as a producer was also making a similar journey as he moved from hip-hop and R&B and found himself firmly in the pop culture scene. He was known across genres and tastes, both musically and in his fashion ventures. Pharrell found there was more to say in his fashion designs. Before he was making things that looked cool or felt comfortable, he was now seeing the potential for more expressive style. In his early designs, the culture of the music he produced was on full display in his work. As the mid-2010s blossomed, he recognized that he can infuse his designs with a purpose, just like he could with a song. He began to see fashion and style as a chance to express experience, story, and setting. He started treating fashion like a song. His work was music to the industry's ears. "15 years went by after his previous collaboration with Louis Vuitton, with Pharrell continuing to grow as a fashion icon and explore his design style. In that time, the fashion house never forgot about him. They kept their eye on everything he did, noting how he handled success, controversy, and most importantly, failure. Now that there were many failures, Pharrell's unique taste made him always in high demand. However, when those flops came along, he never walked away and never gave up. He learned from his mistakes and kept growing. In the public eye, Pharrell balanced engaging in his high fashion interests and being an accessible character. His charm and charisma led to him remaining in the limelight. With each passing year, Pharrell was even more in the spotlight. He was a judge on The Voice, producing the biggest artists of the time, and his designs were flying off the shelves. Fame sometimes has a habit of corrupting people, but in Pharrell's case, he appears to have remained untouched and pure. His interactions with the public are inviting and intriguing, inspiring many people to follow his many ventures for the first time. Pharrell's disarming smile and inviting mannerisms have been the invitation into the fashion world that many people needed to explore the industry who would not have done so otherwise. It was this particular trait that Louis Vuitton was waiting to mature in him before they approached him again. In 2023, the fashion giant announced that Pharrell Williams would be taking the position of men's creative director with the brand. In the years since they had last worked together, Pharrell had gone out into the world and discovered his authentic style. No longer was he simply a product of his environment, he had indeed become a fashion student. In his time running a brand of his own and working long-term with a significant brand, he had learned the industry's business side. Interestingly, the final piece of the puzzle was something he had all along. He had learned how to utilize his charm and personality to help guide a new audience into fashion's magical, artistic realm. Pharrell's first line as men's creative director was revealed at Paris Fashion Week in June of 2023, and it was received as excitedly as the fashion house expected. Pharrell's history in the music industry brought a new, fresh perspective to the industry, revitalizing the brands he has worked with for a modern audience. Pharrell's knack for not just being on the front lines of pop culture, but outright leading the charge has proven to be a tremendous strength in the fashion industry. He clearly knows where things should go that cannot be taught. His understanding of what people want and what people should wish to is unparalleled. He combines his unique perspective and curious taste with a true passion for fashion and style. This creates a chocolate meets peanut butter effect, and the people at Louis Vuitton will be reaping the benefits of Pharrell Williams' genius for years to come. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you should consider checking out one of our other videos. Some of them are being recommended to you right now. Remember to hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one.